Welcome to this week's Okay at Work with myself, Sawyer, my colleague, Russell Berger, both attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about what happens when you get served with a complaint or a lawsuit. What do you do? So that can be a very intimidating moment for a lot of folks, especially if you haven't been involved in litigation before. And also depending on what the nature of that litigation is, how personal it is, how upsetting the things might be in the complaint that you received. You might look at it and say, oh, this is not true. What is this? What's happening? It can be a really confusing time and a little bit intimidating. So what should people do when if that happens to them, I should say, not when, because hopefully not everyone will go through a lawsuit in their life. But what's the first thing people should do, Russell?
Yeah, well, to that point, I mean, if you're running a business, stands to reason it's going to happen at some point. Again, hopefully not to you. And we do a lot of proactive work to try to prevent that and reduce that risk. I think that is the first thing. You shouldn't be surprised that it's happened. It happens in business. You run into the wrong people. You have an employee that's frustrated with you, whatever. Someone doesn't pay you and is proactively trying to avoid paying you, whatever it might be. That stuff happens. And so that would be step number one is just take a deep breath. This is normal. It's unpleasant, but it's within the realm of running a business, much like taxes, right? That's unpleasant too, but you know to expect it every year. You don't know to expect a lawsuit, but it's normal in that way. And you want to approach it calmly, rationally, or have counselors that help you to approach it calmly and rationally and objectively. And with that, I think especially in today's world, there's this tendency to throw it into ChatGPT and see what it says. And with many things, leveraging AI is a great tool, when you start putting things into AI, even if you have a private account, it's not privileged, right? So whatever that communication with the chatbot is could be discoverable. So you don't want to if you want answers and you want some like, hey, I need a plan to go forward. I'm stressed out. I need to know that this is going to be okay, or at least this is going to be manageable. Don't go to the nearest chatbot to get that because it can cause problems down the road in the litigation. And we're just starting to see that as the litigation tactics evolve to this new reality. But I do think if you're a business and you're getting sued, you're going to have a lawyer represent you, and that's just how the rules work. So I do think it makes sense to get to your counsel right away and have that high level initial conversation where it's not about like necessarily every detail of the case. What is this complaint about? What's going on here? What are my options for moving forward?
Yeah, and I think it's good. The privilege concept is something that always you have to make sure you keep in mind. And also just remember that because sometimes people get served with a complaint, it's something embarrassing or something that's upsetting or emotional, or it's hard to talk to someone about. And just remember that's another reason why talking to a lawyer is the right move because we have confidentiality, we have privilege. There's obviously some exceptions to that, but it's fairly broad. And seeking counsel, doing that promptly also because timing considerations are always important here. Usually you have a certain time to respond and you need to respond in a certain way. And so you don't want to miss the window. You don't want to be late in responding because that just makes it harder for whoever you do end up hiring to have to do an extra step. So promptly deal with it. As we always say on here, be proactive. But a lawyer is the right person to get on the phone with and start talking to about these issues for sure.
Yeah, because you mentioned it, sometimes what's in a complaint will inflame the passions, right? It'll get you good and angry. Now, you shouldn't respond from an angry place. And again, the complaint is like the other side's best possible case, right? It's the best facts that they can muster, put in there to make you look as bad as possible. You haven't told your story yet. You haven't figured out how to even play the cards that are your story yet. In my view, you don't want to respond to that and agonize over this one-sided incorrect version of events. You want to get with counsel and figure out, okay, well, how do I tactically, surgically, precisely attack this, which you may think is nonsense or half truth or whatever. How do I attack this and get the result I want in this case? Not how do I fire back at this clown that came after me and how this rage towards.
Yeah. No, so yeah, definitely good advice and make sure you get on it and we'll see you next time, Russell.
Thanks, Sarah.